Take Shape for Life is not about getting rich. You know, it's about becoming wealthy. And wealthy is a different definition. It's about having time. And when I look at my life now, I'm so grateful to Pat for having the courage to call me up. You know, I own this cancer center that was like $38 million in revenue per year. But Pat called me one day while I was going through, you know, a painful divorce, and she invited me to a health talk. That's all she said. You want to come to a health talk? Stan and I are going. And out to dinner afterwards. That was a big social thing for me because I really didn't have a lot of friends, believe me. When you're working all the time and raising 3 kids and you've got this huge cancer thing over your head with multi-million-dollar equipment that you've taken loans out on, you don't have time to, you know, have Debbie as a friend or Lori or Lisa. You just don't have time for that. So I was super excited about going to this health lecture, and the rest is history. So we all owe a lot to Pat and to Greg and Whitney for coming before us. So I'm going to talk about how to manage your calendar, because this was a big one for me. When I've been a health coach now for 10 years, and I've been retired from medicine for 5. So for 5 years, I was juggling, you know, trying to learn the business. And ask Pat, she'll tell you the truth. I didn't do diddly squat for 2 years. In fact, Cheryl's on my team, but Cheryl always says she was sponsored by Pat because I wasn't there for Cheryl for 2 years, believe me. I had no clue what Cheryl was doing. She was jumping ahead
team coaching
and doing a really great job. And I was still in the quicksand, you know, trying to dig myself out and so on and so forth. So that's the beautiful thing, is you can bring someone in and your team helps move those along. So I'm going to talk about calendar because that was super important to juggle all those things. And we're going to talk about what activities are really important. It's not being on email all day long. I hate email. It's a necessary evil, but I spend as little time on email as I can, because if I get buried into email, it's not going to happen. It's about connecting with people is where the action is. Taking responsibility, that's super big. Who talked about responsibility today?
Whitney and Lori.
Yes, that was awesome. And then also eliminating distractions and time wasters, and we all have some of those in our lives, right? For many people, television, I've never been a TV watcher. I've always seen it as a waste of time. I did not raise my kids with television, and today they are avid readers because I didn't put them in front of the television. So know what you have in your hands. This incredible, I don't even have words to describe it, because there are so many things that TSFL, you know, offers us. So for me, it was the community. I was not a very happy person when I came into this, but I kind of am reminded of Whitney some, you know. I had some anger issues and
we are like
just overwhelm issues, and now I sleep through the night. I'm like Lori. I didn't sleep for decades. You know, got by with probably 2, 3, 4 hours of sleep a night. I was always exhausted mentally and physically. So we have amazing things in our hands, but one of the things that we also have, tax deductions if you own a home-based business. So Kathy, Dr. Botany was a CPA before she went into medicine, and I'm telling you, tax deductions for a home-based business, how great are those, Kathy?
Awesome.
Amazing.
talk to your CPA.
So how do you juggle it all? You know, how many of you feel a little overwhelmed sometime or all the time? Let's be honest. Okay. Well, I was there too. And so what holds us back? For a brand new coach, it's fear. And we have to realize that and really lock arms with somebody and help them through that fear. I was fearful. You know, I had MD after my name and I had all these patients. I was afraid of what people would think. gee, they're gonna think I'm selling them something. I'm already making money. You know, they're my breast cancer patient and I'm already making money on them, and now they're gonna think, what else is she trying to sell me? So I had those concepts to get through. But for a lot of us that are more seasoned, excuses, procrastination, time wasters, how many can identify with some of those words? Yeah, so we're all there, and I'm gonna go fast. So really when you're procrastinating, when you're wasting time, when you're getting into fear, always come back to why. Why are you doing this? Why did you sign up as a health coach in the first place? Why are you considering health coaching? For me, it is being part of the mission. The mission is huge. Are you kidding me? I spent 27 years with breast cancer patients each and every day. When Tina was telling her story, that brought tears to my eyes. I saw it every day. The 35-year-olds, the 30-year-olds, the 25-year-olds, they'd come in with their babies and their 2-year-olds in tow. And I had to sit there and tell them they had brain metastases or we had run out of treatment options. So I got really good at, if I didn't have anything to offer them anymore, got really good at holding their hand and saying, is it okay if we pray together? And we prayed together because that was what they had left. So come back to your why. Why are you doing this? So for me, I'm part of the mission to create health in this country. It's a huge, huge task. So when you look at your calendar, make sure that you put it down. Some people use a paper calendar. Probably a lot of you younger people laugh when we talk about paper. I'm pretty progressive now because I actually use my phone calendar. So if it's not on my calendar, it's not gonna happen. So when someone calls me, let's say Barry calls and he asks me if I can do a call with a prospect of his, I will check, I'm on the phone with him and I will flip over to my phone calendar and see if I've got the time on Tuesday at 3 o'clock. Or Debbie calls and she wants to do a celebration call, or Pam wants to review her map or whatever. It's in my phone. I don't have to schlep around figuring out or saying, yes, I can do it, and then realizing that I can't. So put it in your phone. The other thing that I do is I schedule the big rocks first. So my nephew is getting married, the first one in our family, in June. So that's on my calendar because I'm not going to obviously schedule anything else around there. The national convention is there. My son's birthday in February, I'm going down to Houston to spend some time with him. So you want to put everything that's important in your life on your calendar, and then you'll fill in the other stuff. Those calls and maybe that meeting and so on and so forth. Touch your business daily. That's really important. Otherwise you get out of sync, you lose your momentum. If you're just doing your business like, oh, I'll just do it on Saturday morning, you're just out of touch. It's like, okay, I'm gonna practice medicine one day a week. I don't really know my patients if that's what I'm doing. So it's really important. This is a sample, phone calendar from a couple of days ago. And when you're managing your calendar, these are some important concepts. There's prime time. So if you're spending your time on email right in the middle of the day is the prime time that people are available, and you can be making calls and coaching with your coaches and so forth, then that's a waster. Yeah. You want to block time as well. And 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 60 minutes, whatever you need. Debbie and I did a map review with Tina, and we blocked out 30 minutes of time. So you're not going to schedule anything else during that time. Create store hours. This was really important for me. So when I'm at home and I'm doing my business, I am not folding laundry, I'm not emptying the dishwasher, I'm not grocery shopping, I'm not running to the post office, I am doing my Take Shape for Life business. It's as if I'm in my oncology office and I'm totally focused on my patients. But when I'm doing my Take Shape for Life business, I'm totally focused on what I'm doing there. So I've got my store hours, and I'm not gonna mix it up with laundry and all that kind of stuff. Utilize windows of opportunity. So when I'm in the car, if I'm driving to pick up my mom 3.5 hours away in Illinois, I'll play a CD for personal growth. I love music, and I'll listen to music if I feel like I need to calm down or whatever. But I also have things in the car that will help me with personal growth. And I learned this from Greg. Always end your call with the next appointment. Otherwise, you leave it open-ended and then you're wasting time coming back together or you forget. If you're a brand new health coach, your calendar is not that difficult. You may have a full-time other job, right? Most people that come into our business do. So what you're doing as a brand new coach, it's really easy. You're sharing what you do as you live your life. Actually, yesterday I had a guy, an appointment at my house to put in a fence. So my cats, they love going outdoors, but I don't want them running to the front of the house and getting lost. And when the sales guy said, so-and-so is going to call you to schedule it, what's a good time? And I said, oh, anytime's a good time because I work from home. So he asked what I did, and I told him, very briefly, and he said, oh my gosh, I've got diabetes. I was diagnosed 2 years ago. Do you think you might be able to help me? Because one of my bullet points is we sometimes reverse diabetes. And so I've got an appointment with him next week to talk about his health. And I also invited him to this because his wife is a stay-at-home mom and she's looking for an income stream. How easy is that? So sharing as you live your life, you're making calls every day, and then you're working with your mentor on all of these steps that Greg so brilliantly outlined. And Greg is going to cover some of the high leverage activities. I'm trying to make up time because, and I'm going to let Greg cover some of that. So I'm going to go over some tips that I have found to be very, very helpful. When I get up in the morning, I do not get on Facebook, and I don't go to email, and I don't go to my texting or any of that, because the morning is the most productive time. I've had a good night's sleep now that I'm a health coach. I feel good, I've got energy, so I start my day with exercise. Actually, I start my day with my spiritual thing, and then I go to exercise. It's part of my routine every day. I love to exercise. I don't have to, force myself to go there. But then when I get home, I'm working on my business when my mind is fresh and I've got a lot of energy. I go to Facebook just during certain times during the day. I've learned this from Danielle, the peak times to post, when the most people will see it. That's when I go in and I spend a little time. I do my posts for the day. I look at my Facebook messages and all that. Learn to trust your voicemail. I see people, their phone rings and they're constantly on the phone. I don't want to be a 16-year-old living my life on the phone. So I let things go to voicemail. Nothing's an emergency and Take Shape for Life. I'm not an emergency room physician or I'm not practicing oncology anymore. You want to enroll your family in your vision, because that's what we hear a lot of excuses of, well, you know what, I have kids. And my child had a soccer game today. Well, there's always going to be a soccer game. But sometimes you have to miss some of those things to create that extraordinary life for you and your family, right? You're not going to miss if, like my boys were in the state championship. They were ice hockey players when my son was a senior in high school and he was the captain of the team. Well, I'm not going to miss that game, duh. But I'll miss their practice. I don't have to sit there and watch them practice.